we on?
Rolling? All right.
Are we on?
Hey, welcome back to the
Hey, everybody.
podcast.
What's going on? This is part 2 of What the Fuck Happened to Albert.
Yeah. If you don't keep in mind, this is the What the Fuck Happened to Albert. It's like a series we're doing,
Yeah.
but the podcast is still called Grimm Comedy Podcast. I'm your
Or not.
host, or your co-host, Talon Kohnke. This is my brother Will, and our guest for What the Fuck Happened to Albert is Albert. So yeah, I can't remember what we left off.
What was the story that we were talking about last?
Well,
I know it was something to do with the orphanage. We probably should have looked at the last.
I was just
video.
editing it, so
Yeah.
I think one of the things you discussed was I know I'm off stage here.
That's my
but
mom.
You were talking about the tunnels underneath and all the uniforms.
we got evil
and all
Hogwarts.
that.
Yeah.
You also wanted to talk about stealing a car.
Stealing a car. And then the
Okay.
train thing. We also want to touch that
The
train.
train.
Oh,
Yeah,
The
but let's
train thing.
let's do the
Let's
do the
start
stolen
with the
car
train thing.
No,
because-
let's start with the stolen car.
all right, stolen
I've
car.
never stole a train yet.
They're hard to steal.
I know.
They look so easy on movies. Though.
Right. You have to
No,
make
there's
sure
usually
they,
people
like,
running it at that point, not shipping
coffee
things
truck will help.
across the country.
Free coffee. You say that to the engineer, and then your boys going from the other side of the train when they get off to get the
They've
coffee.
finally gone.
Just an observation.
We have quiet on set finally.
Gotcha. Yeah, let's not rub on that while we're doing this podcast.
All right.
Let's
focus on
tell
our
us
story.
about the time that you decided you were going to try to steal
A
or
car.
successfully steal a car.
We did successfully steal it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I was
past
really
the statute
little.
of limitations here, people, so you
Right.
cannot come after him for this. Allegedly, he stole.
Actually,
a car.
we've been already arrested for it, so everything's fine.
Oh, I don't even remember you stealing a car.
Double jeopardy.
Okay. Here's what happened.
Yeah, you weren't alive yet.
A foster family that had taken Fred and kept him came to Maryville on a Christmas to take me to their house for Christmas.
This is another. You
And
have
they-
all the best adventures for Christmas, I think.
I think so.
I think that's
And
why
they-
he likes Christmas.
They
so much.
drank a little bit too much and they started arguing. Okay? Fred and I, who were little, I
Fred's your
was
brother.
probably 8 or 9 at the time. We decided we were going to steal the car. So when they went up to go to bed, their bedroom being above the garage, we stole their car keys and went out to the garage and undid the garage door so they wouldn't hear the garage door when it lifted manually because it had a motor on it.
Oh, you pulled the little string and then lifted
Oh,
No,
clever.
you don't want to pull the string. You want to do it manually. If you pull the string, it starts the motor. So what we did is we
the.
went
Oh,
and
it's a different type of.
we undid the motor and we opened it slowly, manually, and got the car. Now the driveway is slanted. There are 2 stone walls at the base of the driveway so that the water can pass underneath next to the street. So we didn't want to start the car while it was in the garage either. So we pushed the car, but it was snowing and the car went out of control and put its drive cylinder on top of one of the walls on the side of the driveway.
So you got like high centered on the little wall.
Yeah. So one wheel, the drive wheel, is spinning in the air. And so we went back in the garage and we stole all the junk and debris that was in the garage and put it under that wheel and kept on trying to get the car out really carefully.
What was the
silently.
purpose? I'm like,
He was going to operate the pedals and I was going to operate
No.
the steering wheel.
why did you want to steal the car?
So we could run away and go to California. Because California didn't have no snow.
Duh.
I mean,
That's
come
where
on.
his grandparents were, or not his grandparents. My grandparents were gonna do was that's the whole reason why they
Right.
robbed.
So
that
we
fish
figured
market.
we would
They-
follow the Kohnke
tradition of
pattern
going to fucking California. Why?
to start over and live
California.
forever in the sun on the beach with dolphins.
Go
Okay.
on.
She likes it. She likes dolphins. So anyway, I found out a really
serious?
cool thing. But anyway, so
Jewish one.
So
we got the car.
So you had it started in the driveway
We started it at the end of the driveway
after you got it stuck.
after we got it stuck.
All right.
So we piled debris underneath the wheel. We got it unstuck using a car jack and that debris, right? And he operated the pedals, and I drove it over to the high school parking lot where we were going to practice driving, so that we
That's
could go to
responsible.
California.
That's responsible.
So
Actually, like that.
in
Safety
the
first.
parking lot, we found out cars can do a fishtail on snow. So we started driving it a little too enthusiastically. Good word. And then the car went nose first into one of the snowbanks that the tractors had made to make sure people in the morning could park their car in the high school parking lot. So the car is buried. We're inside. We're trying to figure out ways to get out. So the first idea was to partially open the window and pull snow into the car so we could build a tunnel out of the snow. The car is completely buried.
Is it on during this port, or did you turn it off?
Yeah, the engine died and we restarted it because we needed the heater because we were buried in the snow.
Yeah. Okay.
So that didn't work because after we got a bunch of snow in the car, we found out we had to move the snow to the back seat of the car, and that wasn't going to work. We could not figure out which way to dig. So we decided we would go out through the trunk. So we popped the back seat, and we got into the trunk, and using the tools in the trunk, we popped it open, and then there were 3 policemen having coffee waiting for us to dig our way out. And they arrested us, but they couldn't put the handcuffs on our hands because they were too little. So they put the handcuffs on our legs and handcuffed us and took us down to the police station. And then they called the foster father.
And this was the same
Tegmeyer.
guy that Freddie grew up with. It was
Yes.
Yes.
Tegmeyer, the Tegmeyer guy.
Yeah.
So
What
And,
kind of car was it?
Huh?
He probably had a sweet car,
Mercury?
like a Cougar or something like that, or just like a
No.
some kind of
No, it was a Mercury, big
like a big 4-door family
Mercury,
vehicle.
like Lincoln Mercury.
so
type 4-door fancy schmancy.
That's pretty cool.
He was rather tall, and his wife was really little.
baby dies, push your sister down into a well.
No,
You
it was a regular.
shoot the electricity down.
John did that.
Okay, you
John
guys
did
shot-
that.
Yeah.
You shot fucking Freddy's back pocket to his ass.
That
With a
was
bow
with
and arrow.
Dart.
Smashed
with
the
a dart.
car, his car into a fucking snowbank.
After he came
I'm
and
starting
picked
to
me
see
up,
why the Tegmeyers actually didn't want you.
I can't believe they gave you so many fucking chances.
they only gave us one
Hey,
chance.
if it makes you feel anybody, let's think. All right, you caused nothing but mayhem and mischief. Freddy turned into a fucking monster user. I'm sorry, but I would much rather keep mayhem, because at least property gets broken instead of drug dealers
hopes and dreams.
pulling up to my fucking house and
Hopes and dreams.
stealing my money and shit like that.
In all fairness, he was raised by like a pharmaceutical company. Right?
Oh, that should be said louder.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that was pretty cool, man. Like,
Yes.
so you didn't get to California.
No. we didn't.
How far? How many blocks away was the school?
The school was probably a half a mile away.
Whoa,
Yeah.
damn! You guys got
And
pretty far.
we drove
Freddie
really
running
slow.
the pedals.
We really, with Freddie operating the pedals and me steering, we got there. But in the parking lot, we took turns. Sometimes I operated the pedals and he would drive. And when he was lapping, I thought everything was safe. But actually, when he was lapping, we were not safe. We were probably going to
Because Freddie
die.
was a shit starter. Freddie was a.
I feel like they both were pretty shit starting.
This
I
guy,
think I
he was more mechanical about his shit starting. All right, there's a method to his madness.
I
refuse-
appreciate you trying to defend
Yeah.
your father.
I
All right.
refuse
What I'm trying to say is, I'm more defending the fact that my father may be bad, but Freddie is worse.
I hope you're subscribed, Freddie.
Freddie is actually in a coffin. Actually,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
give it up to heaven.
So not
Fucking
subscribed
wouldn't,
or for sure
So we're
subscribed?
safe.
He's probably right here with us.
So probably fucking talking mad smack in my ear right now.
Yeah.
All right, so now the train.
Yeah. So
The
tell us about the
train.
train.
Please tell me what
The train
about
is there are so many events that happen on a train.
We're
would
talking
go-
about the main terrifying one.
No, just go ahead. Just go spitball with your train.
Okay, with the train, we would ride the train when the train slowed down to make a turn or had a certain signal. Does anybody know what a torpedo is? A train torpedo?
I do not know.
A
what a train
picture,
torpedo is.
Picture this here coaster with two lead bands that stick out of it. Okay, on each side.
If I can find a
Okay.
picture, I'll put up a thumbnail
Okay.
right here.
These lead bands are put on top of the track, and the lead bands are squeezed to hold on to the top of the track. By placing them in a specific order, it will send a signal to the engineer of what's happening ahead. Okay? So they can take this and go boom, 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 boom. It's an impact explosive, so when the wheel hits it, it blows up, making a loud sound. It's harmless. It's like a plastic bag with explosives inside of it and two lead bands. Okay. They have them in boxes. They usually have them on pickup trucks that work for the railroad, right? And they get radio signals because all the trains have radios. And they say, okay, light at X and X intersection is broken. You're going to have to slow your train down so we can fix the lights or change the signal in the lights, right? So they'll set up a series of explosives. The engineer hears it, boom, 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 and he slows the train down. Okay. So we would go off the grounds. We would go by the tracks, and sometimes a Sioux line would go by, and we would hear these explosions, right, on certain days. So we, by going to the tracks a little more, found some of those torpedoes, right? And
Like exploded already or not exploded yet?
exploded already.
Okay.
They're pretty exploded already. And when the train would slow down, we would get on the train and ride the train to junkyards up the tracks, right? To intersections where they had to slow down to make a turn, right? We would ride the trains up there. Well, one day we rode the train to a train yard and we swiped a couple boxes of those there torpedoes. Okay.
Oh, so now you can
Signal
slow
the
down
train
a train wherever you want. to slow
wherever
down a
we
train.
want because we paid attention to the signal types and we knew we could slow the train down.
They ought to give you guys a job.
Okay.
They probably got a couple people who work for them who cannot figure that shit out for the life of them, but they're like related to somebody in the in the railroad industry, so they still got a fucking job. Meanwhile, these little kids already figured it out. Anyway,
So anyway, one day we slowed the train down. We got on the train figuring we were going to take the train all the way to the Chicago train yard. We're in Des Plaines, right? What we didn't know is the speed of the train because most of the trains we had seen were slowing down by signal and not realizing they went a lot faster than that. So this particular train, we slowed it down. They checked by radio signal, I believe, and found out that there was clear sailing all the way to the Chicago train yard. So they picked up speed. Now, has anybody seen the rail cars that are shaped like this?
Yeah.
Right? They have a vent in the bottom of them that they can open, and they got the little arms that hold up the angle. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are usually filled with coal or rock or gravel or something that's been paid for and everything, and it's being trafficked somewhere. Okay. This little
They're usually
angle,
open on the top. Open on the top, right?
some of them open, some of them completely covered.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Probably the ones are covered probably have like some kind of liquid.
Yeah, they have metal covers. They have tarp covers.
Or maybe they're like dust, like sand or something like that. So they don't want it blowing while the train's going.
So this little angle there makes a little tiny compartment running about 8 inches deep. Okay, made out of steel. And we, as little kids, we could hide up in there. And as the train would go by all the streets, right? If it was daylight or if it was any kind of light, cars wouldn't see us when they were waiting for the train. They might see a little lump there, but they wouldn't see us as people, so we could get away with it. Well, the train started picking up, and it went so fast, we started to panic. Okay, so there was 4 of us. Am I allowed to say names?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you? Is anybody like running from the law, or is this like going to get
Yeah.
You any contracts with anybody?
Eric Osmond, me, Bob Rhodes, and John Smith. Yeah. We had said that when we got there, we were going to split up. We did the buddy system, but it was agreed beforehand who was going to be with who, right? In case we got into trouble, we could hitchhike home by using a buddy system, right? 2 guys. They'll pick up 2 guys. They might not pick up 4 people, 4 kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had Eric Osmond. Bob Rhodes had John Smith. Okay. And Eric Osmond wasn't really one of us. He was one of the more snooty kids, But this particular event, he was going. So we went out there. Train started going too fast.
I hope he hears this.
We got totally panicked. I mean, we got totally panicked where, I mean it. I was so frightened I was going to pee. I was going to pee my pants on that damn train. The noise.
Just because of how fast it was going.
Because of the speed.
Just the sheer
speed. The
speed.
speed was just so amazing. We were on a damn train, right? Oh my God, if this runs off the train. And we had seen pictures of trains exploding. And so we were kind of panicked.
And this is so you've never been on a train going this fast before?
Never been doing anything going that fast.
Is this your first time on the train?
No, we had been on a train before, but
they have always
this
gone
fast.
slower.
Never this
slow
fast.
chug. Not clackety mother. Okay, so we're on the train, and Bob Rhodes decides he's going to get off the train, right? Okay, now we're not really thinking that.
I'm out.
He gets down on the ladder, and he's touching his feet and running next to the train, holding the ladder. But he's not thinking that every time his foot hits the ground, it's 15 yards between each step. That's how fast we're going, right? So he's going to do a tumble. We have been practicing tumbling, right? But not off of this thing. He lets go, and he don't tumble nowhere. Bob Rhodes hits the ground and stays there one time. Okay, now
it's like a lawn dart.
You see it. Like a
at first he said he didn't tumble at all. I thought you were like, and he caught flight.
He did not.
Never saw it again.
Yeah, his soul left his body. We saw the angel get him.
I know this is supposed to be a horror story, but I'm so used to my dad and seeing stupid people do stupid shit.
We're all watching.
It's just
I peed. I'm sorry. I peed. Right? Nobody knew I peed, but I peed.
So the idea was, it's going so fast. I'm so scared. I'm just going to get off.
He's just going to get off.
You're not just going to just stay there.
No. John Smith gets down. Okay? John Smith gets down. He's holding the ladder. He's doing the same thing. He lets go. He tumbles, though. He tumbles. Yeah. Okay? Eric Osmond gets down. I go, you got this. You can do this, right? He gets down. He tumbles. Okay? So you got they had to stay together, understand? So
Yeah.
Eric
Yeah,
Osmond is
buddy,
going to
buddy.
wait for me to get off. He's going to start walking towards me, right?
Whereas
Bob Rhodes did
Bob-
not move
Bob
in
Rhodes
our eyesight. He did not move. John Smith, he
has
got
got a
off.
long way back. To
Yeah.
walk that
And
way.
we got a long way back. We went so fast, so far. The train, it's my turn. The train slows down. I hop off the train. I'm totally freaked out. What the hell happened? Why?
His friends are all fucking
I
in
start
various
running.
different versions of death, and he's just like,
I start
"It's
running
okay."
back to Eric, right? And when we see each other, we grab each other and hug each other because we were really scared.
Yeah.
Was he all fucked up?
Huh?
Was he all fucked up?
Eric was hurt a little bit. John Smith hurt worse. Bob Rhodes was really hurt. Bob Rhodes had the rocks chunks had took his knees and bust him up on the wrist and the chin, right?
Mm.
Oh my God. He was lucky he had his arm underneath his chin because otherwise it would have took off his teeth. So we split. We didn't see each other anymore until we got back. Bob Rhodes went to Burger King and had a meal, but he bought John Smith nothing. Okay, Bob Rhodes was like weirded out, uppity, right? And John Smith is one of the nicest kids I ever met.
I
Usually it
don't
would have
get
been
that.
me and him as a
I
kid.
fall off a train, right? My friends come to save me. I'm by myself a meal. Fuck you, you know?
And he did that. He did
It's
that.
like,
And
what?
when I talked to John Smith later, I was kind of freaking out that he didn't treat John Smith better than that. They hitchhiked back. We hitchhiked back. Okay.
Well, I guess your friendship with what's his name?
John
The other-
Smith.
The other
John
one.
Smith. Eric.
Eric Osmond was different. You know, you guys were like brothers because
No, me and John Smith were brothers. We had switched up
Yeah, but
for this event.
Yeah, they
Oh,
didn't go.
yeah.
They didn't go
Yeah.
together for that.
I
yeah,
have
but you
gone
hugged on
everywhere.
you
Eric.
like threw your arm around him and was like, it's
Oh,
okay.
we both
you know?
did. We were both so happy that we had been alive.
Did you tell those guys that you jumped off that did the same thing they did? You just like
They
landed
knew.
it better.
We
Never
planned.
fucking told
We
them.
Yeah, like I went off before it slowed down.
Mm.
Yeah, I just didn't get hurt because I'm just that good at tumbling.
No,
Did you do one of those?
no.
I
I
would've
told
done
him
one
what
of
happened. I told him what happened. I told him what happened.
Will's
I
gonna be
don't know
like,
why I was, chosen for this miracle. But there have been a few times when I have been in a situation where I'm, how come I didn't get killed or something?
You should tell about the time that you got the paint set.
I had a paint slip.
Paint set for
Christmas.
Or some
Papa,
red
Christmas.
boxes, red roses, paint.
We should call this the
Oh!
Albert Kohnke Christmas extravaganza.
Wait,
That's
Nothing-
what it is. It's Christmas
Nothing
special.
happened except during Christmas time in his
Okay.
life ever.
Mhm.
Sometimes it happened during the summer. Check this one out. Somebody had a paint by number set. It was a whole bunch of roses in a vase, and you paint it on a black velvet. It's marked out for you, right? And you fill in all the things. They had one, but they didn't want the damn thing. Now this is summer. So I'm looking at this thing, and I had an arrow that was broken. We don't even know where the arrow came from because we sure weren't allowed to have weapons. What would happen then? I don't. So I had a broken arrow, right? And I took my jeans shorts, okay? And I took the arrow and I tucked it up underneath my arm. And I used all those colors of red to drip down my body with the paintbrush and onto my pants, right? Now, after the paint dry, I could go, but I could line it up again, sticky, And it looked like the arrow was stuck in me, right? But a lot of people didn't know the arrow was only like this long. Didn't have like 6-7 inches of it was gone, right?
Yeah.
So then I went out by the road, and it's Central and River Road is where the orphanage was. And I went out by the road, and in the gully off the road, right, I would crawl, right? And then people in the cars, they would go, "Ah!" And say, "Are you okay? Okay, yeah, just kidding." Yeah. It's a fake arrow. So I'm doing that for,
Oh,
I must have been out there. I must have been out there.
You're how old at this point?
I'm 16.
16 years old.
I'm 16.
So you don't know it yet at this point, but you're about to escape the orphanage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know.
2 more
I was
years.
in high
2
school.
more
Now,
years.
here's
It was
what
like a
happened.
year and a half.
Because I had been there so long, since 1958, right? I got picked for a high school program. 9 kids. Every morning, a taxi cab would pull into the circular driveway, and 9 kids from the high school building would get in a cab, 1 each. We would nod at each other. We had briefcases so we could get beat up at school for being nerds, because everybody else had backpacks.
Yeah.
We would nod at each other and get in a cab, and they would take us to 9. This is the first time they ever did that. 9 different high schools. 9 different high schools.
So you didn't even have like the solidarity of like there's 9 of us from the same place.
Oh,
Yeah,
we knew
we're
each
all
other
together,
and we could be friends.
They
and we
wanted,
could protect
they
each
wanted
other.
a unique experience. Okay,
Cool.
So
That's an awesome
I got
way to
picked
do
for
it.
Maine West. Okay, so I go to Maine West every morning, right? So I got picked because I had been there for so long.
And
freshman year.
they just needed a break from you, I think is what it was.
Uh,
From as these stories have been going, I can see.
I had the largest amount of dinner ever. But anyway, so I'm limping and cars are stopping, and I hear something happening behind me. I turn around. One of the brothers, there are 4 men that watch, they're called brothers, they're friars.
Yeah.
They watch the high school building. One of the brothers is in the van and he's driving it bungity bungity over the landscape. The other one is running at me by foot. They seen me from the office window and thought that I had the arrow stuck in me and were running out to save me. And when they found out I was faking, they were the pissed off. I got my ass kicked for about a week.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
They took my arrow away.
And that was during the time you were doing this high school situation.
Yeah, I'd already made it through freshman year, right?
He had to play with fire and be like, let me a couple of blocks from the place where they beat me
So
for smelling things.
It was unblocked.
at the orphanage, obviously, you could be there till you're 18 potentially.
Yeah. And then,
Would you be able to get like a driver's license while you're in the?
No, heck no.
No, that would be something you'd have to do
No.
after you became an adult.
No, but we stole the tractor. We knew how to drive.
Then you have
Look,
to drive.
We're out in the bushes all the time.
Oh yeah, I
right?
mean I learned how to drive.
We're looking out the bushes and we see the farmer and he looks around and he walks over to the tractor and he pulls this little wire off the tractor, puts it in his pocket, and he walks away and gets in his truck and drives back, right? The lay people were volunteered to help with the crops and stuff for the cows and the chickens and stuff right around the property. So it's like orphanage and then farmland all the way around it, right?
Yeah.
And then across the street, Highway 45, the river, forest, okay? That was total blast. We must have had like 8 different forts in the forest that nobody could ever knew we had. The Daredevil Club were badasses.
What about talk about the Daredevil Club? When did you start doing that?
There was about 11 of us. We call ourselves the Daredevil Club. Okay. Now the Daredevil Club were the ones that found the underground tunnels filled with all these thousands and thousands of band uniforms. Did I tell you about that?
You told us about that last time. Yeah.
So we were the ones that got into the underground thing, not by busting the locks either. We stole keys and got the keys to actually open the lock. We don't want to get caught. You bust a lock, then they're going to put a different lock on there. This was from outer space. They'll never figure this one out. I don't know, but we got actual copies of the keys and got in there. But Daredevil Club had underground forts. There was a lot of homes that had been bought in the farmland, but they had homes there, and then the only thing left was like a foundation and a rampant garden. Like a stream would cut through the farmland, right? And there was a home right on the stream because that's how they washed their dishes in the olden days.
Yeah.
They used the water from the stream. So the home would be there. The garden would be rampant, right? And the home would be completely gone.
Like it's just like a slab, or just like a
No,
or was it
mostly
wood?
walls.
Was it wood? Just
Mostly walls. It's concrete walls stuck in the ground.
oh, got it. Okay.
And so we would go over there in the bushes and just eat. For some reason, onions and strawberries would grow really well underneath bushes, rampant together. Don't ask me why. I guess they were friends, but we would go in there and just get stomach aches eating all those wild vegetables.
These were also sweet Vidalia. There were Vidalia onions.
and
So
swiping
Tastes
apples.
Like the cow got
Yeah.
into an onion patch.
Yeah, swiping apples, right? We would go to the
Napoleon
dog food plant. We would go to the dog food plant up the tracks, right? And ride the horses. Because we knew on holidays, the dog food factory wouldn't be open, but those horses would be in their stalls waiting to be turned into dog food, right? And we would go in the stalls and make our own halters and ride on the horses, because like they were like antique horses. They weren't like anything that could get rowdy or nothing. Made friends with a couple of the horses, before they went up to heaven. But
Before they were murdered.
yeah, dog food company.
Keep in mind,
kind of a weird
what's
place.
his name? Not Eric Osmond.
John Smith.
John Smith was a part of the Daredevil crew.
Yeah, John Smith. John Smith and me had so many adventures. Oh, we were the ones. We're hitchhiking up to the convenient.
Too
food
bad
mart.
his name's fucking John Smith. You'll
Oh.
never be able to find
Yeah,
him.
I know,
Our
right?
largest priest.
Fucking poor jackass.
Our largest priest's name was John Smith. John Smith, after he got out of Maryville, he took his wife's name so he could be John Hine.
Yeah, we're actually friends with him, John Hine. Yeah. Yeah.
He went up to heaven.
We actually.
Yeah, he went up to heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, before Christmas, he went up to heaven. I got a message from, I think, his son.
Well, we were friends
What a
with him
blast
before he
we
fucking
had.
died.
Check this out.
So you started that Daredevil Club around what, like
I
8?
didn't start it.
Oh,
No.
who started it?
Then why is it
No.
called the Daredevil Club? You love Daredevil.
I love Daredevil. Yeah,
I
I
thought
had
that was
my
the point.
T-shirt had a DP on it. Some
Daredevil
folks thought
Prince.
I told the people it meant dumb Pollock. It meant Daredevil Prince. See, me, John Smith, Eric Osmond, not Bob Rhodes, but all of a sudden there must have been about there was 11 of us total, and
So
when we
somebody
would go
else
out,
started it, and you joined it.
yeah, I was one of the first guys that started it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was with that crew that decided, well, we should. There was only like 4 of us at the beginning, but we kept on getting more dudes that would come in, and nobody would go home for the good. You got a picture, Christmas time, 1,200 kids.
And then all of a
There's
sudden,
between 9 and
like,
12
just
left.
11?
So it's like Christmas holiday is coming, everybody would disappear. There would be 9 kids left. They would put a blanket. We had to stay on the blanket unless we had to go potty, and they would bring us sandwiches to the blanket, right? They put us all in one hall during the Christmas season. Okay, so
And that's like from when you're a little kid all
Yeah.
the way up till
all the way up.
Like, so if you're like a 16-year-old, you're still sitting on a blanket.
The 16-year-old, they had us in a high school building.
Oh, they would put you guys
Yeah.
over there.
They built a high school building in the shape of a big C, right? With a circular driveway. They built a complex for the high school kids because some kids would never go home for good. That was a quotation that we used. Oh, he's going home for good. And they would get a foster home, or sometimes their parents would get their shit together and then they would
Get
go
the
back
kid
with
back.
their parents.
Yeah, that's cool. That happens
But,
sometimes.
But I learned a lot of stuff.
So, but like, so you guys started this at like what age? You were like 8 or 9, or
8 or 9.
8 or 9, and then you just kind of kept through that Daredevil Club all the way through.
Yeah,
whole time
all
there?
the way through, even into high school.
So, what other kind of things besides like the train would you get involved in?
The train,
And the
dog
tunnels.
food. Oh, check this one out. Me and John Smith, we're going up the street. We're going to go get some ice cream because I started a lawn business, right? Guilt tripping people, for letting me do their lawn, right? That was pretty smart. But okay, here's what I did. I'm walking and I saw a broken shovel. When I'm walking a little further, I saw another broken shovel. Well, this one had a broken end and this one had a broken handle. So I put them both together. Now I got a whole shovel, right? did that with a rake. I saw a cart, right? Some kind of a cargo cart or something like that. I put different wheels on it, 3 or 4 wheels, right? Different kinds of wheels, but it worked, right? And I put my stuff in there, right? So then I will go across the street to the housing complex,
Right.
Prospect Heights or Mount Prospect, whichever one I was going to do. And I'm going to knock on the door and I'll see your yard looks really bad. I could probably help you clean it up really good. Said, oh yeah, how much? I said, I don't know, maybe about $3, $3. I could help you. And then they would let me do their lawn, and I would do their lawn. And then I would go and find another
So
messy
you're not
yard.
cutting grass. You're just like raking leaves.
Cutting grass.
Oh.
Look at the seasons. Summer, cut the grass, right? Fall,
Rake the leaves.
rake the leaves, right? Do edging, right? In the winter, shovel the driveway. Every single season had something else I could do. I had my own business, so I have money. The other kids would say, well, how the fuck are you? Because I know when the nuns ain't looking. They ain't looking, I'm out there. And as a little kid, I took advantage of being a little kid. Because I would guilt trip them. I would take one of my friends with me. Come here. Let's go. We're going to do lawns. So we would do lawns. And if it was wintertime, I would go, hey, you want some hot chocolate? He goes, what do you mean? I says, you want some hot chocolate? He says, yeah. I'll go knock on the door. I said, driveway's all looking really good right now. Hey, do you think that we could have a drink of water? He said, you want some hot chocolate? I said, okay. In the summer, I will get lemonade. I will get iced tea, right?
Nice.
Hey, looking really good out here. Do you think we could have a drink of water? Would you like some lemonade? I said, okay. So me and John Smith, we going up the street. We're going to get an ice cream cone. Okay? 5 cents each. He's hitchhiking. He's hitchhiking. I'm about 5 steps ahead of him, and I got a little handful of rocks. No. So when the car don't stop, I go like that with my thumb, and a little pebble goes up in the air. And the car comes.
This motherfucker.
The first time I ever thought of this is the last time that I ever did it. It was the first and last, right then and right there. That pebble, my timing was so exact, that pebble hit his front windshield. He slammed on the brakes. Me and John ran into the cornfield. It was fall. The corn was gone. It was chopped down.
No.
I go into the cornfield. John goes into the cornfield, but he goes in a different direction than me, right? We have just passed the railroad tracks, right?
And it's just
I get down
earth.
on the ground. It's not bare earth, but it's the stalks are sticking up. So there ain't really. I'm a black object in a white corn stalk landscape, right? That car goes up the street and spins around, right? And goes back down the street over the railroad tracks. I'm going, what the hell, right? As soon as I seen him pass up, I jump up and I run over to the railroad tracks. I'm talking, John Smith pops up out of the bushes and he's talking to me and he's looking that way. And all of a sudden his eyes get really big. I go, what? And I turn around and that man is running down the tracks at us smoking a cigarette, running as fast. Yeah, coughing and coughing. Me and John ran off into Mudville. We went off into Mudville. We went across the highway, right? We went in the forest, and by a couple of branches, we just said, what the fuck? I go, he could catch us because he was smoking cigarettes. He said, what the fuck, man? What did you do? I said, I think it was the pebble. I flipped the pebble. And he said, don't ever do that again. I said, I ain't never going to do that shit again, man. It was the stupidest fucking pebble I ever saw in my life, man. But a lot of the adventures point to fucking John Smith.
That motherfucker.
And I'm freaking. You know what John Smith did? He took the Daredevil Club one step further. This guy became one of these mountain climbers. He became one of these mountain climbers. you've seen pictures of it. You go, oh hell no.
Yeah.
They got the hammock nailed a damn
wall,
cable
yeah.
and they got a hammock there, and they're kicking back on the side of a epic
sheer
mountain,
cliff, just a sheer cliff.
cliff on the damn ledge. It's a hammock. Where did you get the hammock up the dang mountain
It's in
with
a
the little
pack.
cable?
It's a little pack.
But that's what kind of man he was. This guy,
Dang.
he did every kind of climbing trick, right? Nailing this, pounded a stake in, climbing.
That's crazy. John Hyatt is what his
John
name?
Hine. John Hine was his name. John Hine. That's what he changed his name. He took his wife's name, right? We call him Orby because he had a big old head when he was little. Did I ever tell you about the waterhead kid I stole?
Oh, tell me about this waterhead kid.
All right,
Okay,
we're going back in time.
No,
So
back-
Okay, but
we
still,
still.
long as we keep over in the 9-year-old area.
Yeah,
what do we
yeah.
say?
Once
Okay.
we do the Waterhead Kid, and then we have to go to Vietnam and do that.
Okay, check this out.
Tell that beginning
Waterhead
story.
Kid. They have a special event called the Good Boys Picnic in Chicago. And they go to every single planet you can think of. And they take a bus load of kids from all the different
They're
planets.
not from different planets. They're
Okay.
disabled children. They're not aliens.
Any kind of orphanage or children's home. They take all these kids, they load them in a bus, and they bring them to this one event. Big, giant picnic. Everything is free. All the rides are free in Chicago. Okay. They have the one eyebrow kids, right? A couple bus loads of them.
A bunch of Armenian kids.
No, they just got one eyebrow.
Yeah.
They got like one eyebrow and they don't touch it. Okay, check this out.
Armenians. Yeah, I know what you're talking
They got the kids with the little hands,
about. Oh yeah.
and sometimes they got a little leg too, or two little legs, right?
Sometimes they
The
only got
little
one
mine.
little leg.
Yeah, sometimes they have one little leg and a
One
whole
regular
leg. I don't know how they're doing it, right? I don't even know what planet they're from. But then they got a whole busload of waterhead kids. Waterhead kid is a kid with a big old head and a little bitty body, right? Big head, all covered with veins, like something on Star Trek, right? All covered with veins. Big head, normal face, right? But a big old head and a little bitty body. And every single waterhead kid has to have someone pushing their wheelchair, okay? Because their body is little, they can't really push their whole big head around in that wheelchair.
Right.
Okay?
Right. I get it. I see how it works.
So I'm going down the sidewalk at this big picnic, right? And I'm
Thanks for joining
looking,
us.
and there's a waterhead kid in a wheelchair with nobody watching it. And I'm looking around, nobody's around. So I stole him. Dude, okay, check it out. Me and him, we went on all the rides.
Oh my god.
We went on the rides
Now
together.
you see why
The
I
Tilt-A-Whirl.
I think you're like that's like some kind of like I think you'd be deported for some shit like that.
Deported?
Yeah.
To the home planet.
Yeah. Like I mean, you
have to go
know.
back to your home planet, Albert. Okay, so anyway,
Jesus.
So where'd you take him? Where'd you take this?
I
poor
took
kid?
him on all the rides. We had the best day ever.
He
look.
can't speak. Can't
He
scream.
can make
And almost
noise.
every single time he told me these stories.
He can't
every
go.
He
single time
can't
he's
say
on a
any.
ride.
He can't say any words.
He
No.
made noise.
He goes,
No words. Yeah, I'm the Tilt-A-Whirl.
So could he
Screaming.
express any kind of emotion?
He expressed some emotion that day, I'll tell you that.
He
got
It's
excited.
one of those situations
It was happy.
where
Okay,
this is where,
check this
like
out.
It was
like your
happy
little
and
sister
fear.
All
when
the
you
food.
dumped her down a fucking thing and you're like not aware that you're doing something really really bad.
I think
I
that's
had
exactly
no
what was
idea,
happening.
but look,
I
Debbie,
know it's
that
exactly what was
incident, I was a little bit under 5 years old.
He was an
Okay,
idiot
this,
then.
I'm
This
already
was
9.
mischief.
I know he's having a good time. I go to the hot dog stand, right? All the food and drinks are free, right? I go up to the hot dog stand. I get me a hot dog. I hand it to him. I turned around. The guy in the hot dog stand went, bruh. I go, what? And I look. The dude's holding an empty bun. So I figured, your hot dog dropped. I look around his chair, look in his chair. It's not there. What the fuck? So I give him my hot dog. And I turn around and get another hot dog. The guy behind the counter went, bruh. Again. I turn around, second hot dog. The dude did 4 hot dogs. He sucked them right out of the fucking bun. He disappeared 4 hot dogs in a couple of seconds. This time, next hot dog, I hand it to him. Right? This time I'm gonna watch them. Hot dog gone. I got him another
It's
one.
low carb. She's
Just empty buns.
Yeah.
The empty buns
Yeah.
are on the
Keep
ground.
in mind, he would
He just ate them damn hot dogs. They was
Yeah.
gone. All right.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
You're gonna kill that kid. Oh my god. But he's
Okay.
got like a little tiny body.
little
little
body.
body.
It's not normal. His head is big. The head ain't
You ever
normal.
seen these waterhead kids?
You could keep going.
Look,
Okay.
look it up. Well, I'll throw in
So
a picture.
anyway, I got caught. So this is what they did. They put me on a bus, and 2 nuns beat the hell out of me and put me on the bus. But the nuns wasn't done. They go and stand by the bottom of the bus, and when they see some other nuns, hey, mon Dieu, come over here. And they tell the next 2 nuns what I did. And those 2 nuns come in here and whip my ass, right? You know, smacking and smacking the little
Yeah.
thing, you know. You got to kind of dodge like this, you know.
You pretend like it hurts a lot more than it actually does.
Oh, heck yeah. You got to make the noise.
Yeah.
Okay. If they aren't convinced that you are in pain, you're going to be in more pain.
Yeah.
Okay. These are French Canadian Catholic nuns. Okay. They ain't
desire
playing
your
around.
pain.
They're especially trained to harm you. Okay.
Yeah.
I still know how to swear at myself in French.
He moral of the story, he managed to give that kid probably
Oh,
very
me and him
good
had
time.
The only real day of his life.
the only real day of his life. Yeah. Before he died. Because they don't
Cool
last
kid.
very long, because of their deformity.
I don't know. I think some of them last. I think they let the air out of their head and they get littler.
What?
I'm not sure. I'm just
They're not
hoping.
airheads.
I'll tell you what, there's, I'm sure like Disneyland's probably got some kind
No.
of program for these kids or something. Because I know like they'll have like groups of kids who have some kind of mental disabilities that will go on. Like they get like
They have
almost,
Lobster Boy.
they're basically like free of charge. They can go in and do whatever if they're like.
Yeah.
I remember
Lobster
one time
kids.
I was getting ready to get on the Tutsu roller coaster at, this wasn't Disneyland, this was at Magic Mountain. And I'm standing in line, and they have like the little cage that you get in because
Yeah.
you're going to be in this row when whatever
Yeah.
row shows up in front of you, and everybody's got their little
Stalls,
horse
yeah.
stall that they're in,
Yeah.
know, and usually it's like 2 or 3 or 4 people at a time can go on the
Yeah.
row. Well, there was some kind of group of some kind of
Some planet.
I don't
Kids
know,
from different worlds.
there's some kind of club maybe or something like that, but they got to cut the line and everything. Like these
Yeah.
kids, like they came in from like another entrance,
Yeah.
and like because I'm like, all right, cool, we're next or whatever, and then the thing's like coming back in, and then all of a sudden we see this group of kids that are like look like they're in their 30s, but they're having a hard time. They get in there, they get into the Tutsu to go, and this thing, it's one of those roller coasters where when you sit down in it, the whole thing this chair just kind of
Nope.
and locks up like this. So you're like in the Superman position.
Yeah.
No. Never.
So that we're getting ready to go, and as they roll up, right? You can't really tell what kind of emotions these kids are really throwing, or if they even know where they're at, But all of a sudden, like all this fluid comes out of 2 of these kids that are sitting in these chairs in this row.
What was the color? Was it a solid?
It was like I couldn't really tell because where the seats go and where you walk up to, it's like recessed. So I just see this fluid come out, and I was like, "What the hell?" And I can kind of see it's dripping, and I'm like, I can't see the puddle, and I'm like, "Do these kids just like piss themselves all over the seats?" And now I'm like really regretting the stall I'm in because I'm like, "Fuck."
I had this.
Like, are they gonna have to shut this ride down when they get back, or like how are they gonna do this? And so like they go and everything like that, and the kids come back and they look like they're having a blast and everything, and they get off and they head out. And I asked the girls like, "Hey, like we good here? Like what the hell? Do we need to like come in and sterilize these seats or whatever?" And they're like, "Oh no, they just came from the water ride that's across the way, and their shoes were completely full of water, and they're just."
I was so scared.
You know what
I thought
happened
this
to me with
motherfucker was
that?
going to tell me I
You
wrote
know the one
entire
that goes
ride
around
covered in
and
yours.
fastens you to the wall?
Yeah.
Right? I go to this one event, and I'm really going to try and impress the ladies. So I have like stretchy bell bottoms on, right? And I go in that ride where it goes around and around and fastens you against the wall, right? There's 2 girls on the other side, and all of a sudden they're looking at me, and they just bust out laughing. Look, and they're poking me the people on the side of them to tell them to look at me too. You're passing to the wall. And I look down, my stretchy pants have gone up against the wall, and then I have slid down about 3 or 4 inches. So now my pants are razor tight, showing every kind of paraphernalia I might have inside the front of my britches. In severe detail. And I'm going, oh, you're trying to get your arm off the wall to go.
Oh man.
I must have looked like some kind of perverted seal because I finally got my hands over my private parts. But by that time, they had told about 5 people on each side of them to look at me. And I'm still. So that was kind of
yeah, that's not good. That's definitely not good.
That's
But at least
last-
you gave that waterhead kid a day.
Yeah.
Might have been his only day he ever had.
Damn.
What a blast we had.
I'm
What
glad
a
you got your
blast.
ass kicked for it too.
And then
Oh,
Yeah.
that's-
So are we gonna fast forward right all the way there?
we're gonna tell how he got there. What was the process?
In all actuality, we can always rewind if we need to come back to some stories from a later date.
Oh,
but-
we're
or
probably
earlier
going
date, I
to.
should say.
I think we've missed.
I was in there
a couple of them.
for February 26, 1958 to August 9th, 1970.
Damn, you missed the fucking '60s, bro.
Sugar Bowl. That's where it started. Right?
Okay, check. We're going to do it next, or you want me to do
No,
it
right now, because that way
Okay.
next will be.
This is
Upside
how
Down.
I got out. After 3 years in high school, I was informed that I did not pass junior year. So I was going to have to do junior year over again. I didn't want to do junior year over again. I had had enough of Maryville. Okay. And I had enough adventures to know that there was a whole bunch of things waiting for me in the forest. I got my letter in track, right? So I didn't do so bad, but I didn't get all my scholastics all the way up to par. So they told me,
So you're just basically like a couple credits behind.
yeah,
for
a
the
couple
year?
credits behind.
And you couldn't make it up in like a summer school or nothing like that?
I don't know if they
Even had an
they
option
had it.
for that.
They had an option.
Well, not
Think
if you're
they did.
bus. You get bussed
Not
in
if you're-
from some fancy fucking
Yeah. So
bougie fucking orphanage.
Has its own fucking everything.
but because I had
Well,
been
here's another
chosen,
thing. Here's another thing. Keep in mind, all right, they have their own graveyard.
For an orphanage?
yeah.
Do you
we
need
had our
I?
own graveyard.
Should I say more? Should I ruin our audience? They had
It's for all
their
them
own
Waterhead kids.
graveyard. Waterhead kids didn't go there.
shit.
It was for kids
Yeah.
that nobody claimed. If they died there and nobody claimed them, they would just give them a stone and put them in the children's graveyard. You're talking about a big place. We got our own water tower.
Yeah, you're talking about a big place. No, that's like a Stephen King novel.
Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Like
What
Pet
the
Cemetery is a
front door?
little
Yeah.
tame compared to the orphanage
So-
cemetery.
This is how I
Jesus
got out.
Christ.
There was a
Because
couple
I
of
had
kids that have
special powers.
disappeared.
Because I had special powers, I could go and tell them I want to go see a movie downtown. I had the money to pay for my ticket, right?
Not super.
And I could go downtown Des
Authority.
Plaines to the theater and watch a kung fu movie.
But how far away was that? Was that something you'd have to take a taxi to or a bus or something like that? Or you just hitchhike down there? How many miles do you think it was?
Let me look inside my brain.
Like how long would it take you to get there?
Yeah,
Like if you like say you got
I'd
out
have
there,
to leave
you're
in the morning to see the movie in the afternoon. I'd have to leave in the morning.
Holy
to try to
shit.
get down there.
That's like an all-day drive. What the hell?
yeah,
Like-
it's like way harder than streaming.
No, you got to understand. I had to wait for a ride.
No, I
I
get
had
it.
to
I
wait
get
for a
it.
ride by thumb. Okay.
No, trust
So-
me. As a kid who grew up without
In
ability
the-
to be able to like drive somewhere to go see
in
a
the
movie,
hitchhiking
and
age,
I
yeah.
didn't hitchhike, but I took a lot of city buses where I had to transfer to a different city bus
Yeah.
to get to a local mall to be able to go see a movie.
Little
And
bit.
I was living in the fast-paced world of movie phones, so at least I could check like movie times and guesstimate what time I was going to get there, so I could like nail it
Yeah.
like at
No.
a good time. But like I thought I was like pinnacle of technology back then, but I can imagine like yeah.
So I hitchhiked up to the theater, but
So
I got a little,
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting, but the hitchhiking process, is that the time consumption is actually getting somebody to pick you up, or like once you get picked up it's still a long drive?
no, maybe about 10 miles, maybe.
10 miles. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so it's
Okay.
not that far. It's just getting everybody to be. I'm going to the movie. Yes, yes. You're going. Did you tell Tim Lynch? Yes, I told Tim Lynch.
So
Did you tell Father Thorne? No, I didn't tell Father
it
Thorne.
would
Go
be
tell Father
actually the
Thorne.
nuns. It would be brother this or brother that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go and tell the brother where you're going, right? He says, okay, you have to be back at a certain time. Okay. So then I go out to the street, walk over to River Road, right, and stick out my thumb, right?
And you just start walking, and you may get a couple miles before you even see somebody, right?
Yeah, it's Highway 45, so
There's a lot of traffic. A lot of traffic.
Yeah. So
Okay.
really weird area. Check this out. Across the street from Maryville, gigantic Holy Family Cemetery. Okay. In the forest, a nuns colony. I don't know
Like
what
a
they call it.
dormitory or something like that.
No, nuns bigger than that. A nun's place to dedicate yourself to Jesus and be a nun. We
Oh,
get all trained.
it's like a nun
Nunnery.
private school.
Convent.
A
A
nun
nun
convent.
convent. Okay. Now look,
convent.
nun convent
Nice.
up the street,
It's the first time I knew
forest,
something I didn't know, and I'm proud of you.
Central Road and River Road, Carmelite. These are the nuns that don't talk to anybody. Another convent, giant sexton dump, right? Big, right? They got ravens and seagulls over there.
That's for the
are
nuns
awesome.
that have sexual issues, right?
No, they're nuns that don't want to talk. They have dedicated themselves just
Is
to
he
pray.
I think he's
and
making a
plant
joke about
food.
the dump.
Oh, sexton. Okay.
Sexton dump.
I thought it was the nuns that had sexual
No,
issues.
on the
Sexton.
other side of the convent was
I got where you're
it
going.
was,
with that.
it was a giant dump, a giant garbage disposal on the opposite side of the river. The river, dam number 2 in the forest up there. So anyway, I'm going down to Des Plaines. So I stick up my thumb, I get a ride. He takes me downtown Des Plaines, drops me off, right? There's a passenger train station there
May I
that can
just
take you to the
interject
Chicago.
right here? Your names for different areas in there, compared to now, like me and you have like elven names for different spots, and like now, back then you're like dam number 2. I'm like Woods number 1. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? You're a kid who was raised off or read the original
No,
Lord of the
that
Rings.
actual
Can't come
sign
up with
says
creative,
that the actual sign said dam number 2.
Oh,
dam
I
number
thought
1,
you.
dam number 2.
I thought you and the Daredevil crew just called it dam number 2. I'm like,
No, actually,
why?
it was up the street.
Because it's the second one we found.
Yeah. Up the street, Mundelein Academy. Mundelein Academy is a place for training priests. It's a college for only training priests, right?
They train
So
you how
that's
to
up-
hit,
Yeah,
how to
but anyway,
fucking
so you're
knock
getting
shit
on
out.
this. You're getting on this roadway.
I'm getting this road. I'm going
into the
downtown.
movie theater.
But when I get downtown, I got a little extra money because I got a lawn service business, right? So
The lucrative
I
world
look
of
and
lawn
there's
service.
the Sugar Bowl restaurant. So I'm going to go over there and get myself a cheeseburger, right? Same time quotient, right? Hitchhiking home after the movie. I'll be home fine on time and stuff. So I go to Sugar Bowl and I get myself a cheeseburger and I'm looking and the waitress has a phone book, right? So I said, do you think I could use the phone book? Oh, sure, honey. She gives me the phone book. Inside the phone book is a stack of Konkes that tall, right?
Keep
So-
in mind, this is this is my dad. No one loves him. He's in an orphanage. I have to.
Well,
I'm always looking for a chance to see my family. You know.
Also, he comes
So-
from a group of people that had. I mean, he has 7 brothers and 7 sisters. I'm sure they weren't the only Konkes that were procreating.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going down this list of phone numbers, and one of them is my actual uncle. He's my father's brother. I thought you were dead. I said, no, I've been in Maryville, right? So he goes, well, if you need anything, you can try and let me know. And it said, I told him they're going to keep me. They're going to keep me for another year. That means I got to be here another 2 years, right? So anyway, he helps me sign up delayed enlistment in the Army. And I go back to Maryville and I zip it shut. And in August, 2 MPs in a Jeep drive up to the orphanage. We have a warrant for arrest for one Albert Kohnke, failure to appear, He signed. I went and did my oath and everything. You know, you have a room with everybody has to say the oath. for
So
the
so
United
so you
States.
had done that before. You done that
Did all
before they
that.
showed up. You
Right.
did all that stuff.
Yeah.
I did all that. I made arrangements with my uncle. He would pick me up and take me to the downtown area for the enlistment.
Do the little sign up thingy.
Do the
Yeah.
sign up thingy.
Take your oath, boom,
Right.
boom, and then you're supposed to show up.
Then I'm supposed to show up. August
yeah.
9th. August 9th, I have been late about a month, right? The MPs came and got me, and they took me to O'Hare Airport. We're going to have no trouble with you. I said, no.
Do we need handcuffs? Hell no.
They put me in the Jeep and took me to O'Hare Airport. They put me on an airplane and shipped me, and 6 o'clock that evening, I was in Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Free. Finally free from the evil Hogwarts.
And they never caught me again.
I mean, hey, he was pissed because he always had water long hair, and they had always kept it short, shaved. When he got in the army, all the other fucking army guys were pissed because
Yeah,
they all
they-
had long hair and they had to
Yeah,
give it
they
up.
made
and
me
he
go
had-
in the line anyway. I
He
had
had
to
an
go in the
already
barber's line with
regulation
no
cut,
hair.
you know.
I had to pay the barber, you know, to get a haircut, but I didn't have any hair, right? The other guys thought I was weird too because my foot locker would be all immaculate. I didn't want no nuns to come in here and beat my ass. My everything was cool, clean, socks rolled, underwear rolled.
They always thought it was also a little bit weird because when the general said salute, he goes, and everyone's like,
I never did that. That's bullshit.
just
Okay,
me.
check
Never
this
mind.
out. The drill sergeant come to inspect the foot lockers, right? The drill sergeant come to inspect the foot lockers, and he looks at me. He says, "Private, you did this?" I said, "Yes." The heck did you come from? I go, Maryville Academy. Academy.
Let me rephrase. God damn it, Gump! Why did you put your rifle turret together so quickly?
Because you told me to, Jill Sergeant.
You've not clue.
That is the best goddamn answer I've ever heard in my life. Go.
He said, "What is your name?" Albuquerque. Albuquerque? This man's name is Albuquerque. They called me Albuquerque. It's Albert Conkey. We know Albuquerque. You know your name is Albuquerque. You know, and they would not let that go.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Every single time I see
Is-
Forrest Gump, I'm always like, oh my god, man. As you told me to, Drill Sergeant.
Okay, we did pretty good tonight.
Yeah, no, that was a good episode.
Yeah, we're gonna pause it right there.
next-
This is big transition. This is like the end of one of the Lord of the Ring books, rolling
Yeah.
into the next Lord of the Ring book.
Actually,
so it's like
more like
you-
half a Lord of the
yeah.
Ring
So
book,
well, yeah, no, it's like
We
right
just
at the end
had-
of Fellowship of the Ring, where you're like, okay, like some shit's going down. It's not that bad, but
Well,
then
we're
it's
getting
really
there.
rolling into some other
Yeah,
fucking shit
and
that's
now,
pretty fucking bad.
so basically, now next week we're gonna begin basically the Two Tower Albert and the Two Tower, something like that.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us for this evening. We'll catch you back next week.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.